Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep video. This week is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually going to prep all my dinners and all my lunches this week. I'm planning on doing very simple like bowl meals. I'm only cooking for myself this entire week, so I plan on doing some soups you'll see, and I plan on just throwing some bowls together. I really want to focus on my workouts this week, and not having to make dinner or not having to prepare dinner from start to scratch is really going to help me out. It's just I feel like I'm going to be more motivated to get my workouts in, and I really need to get that to be part of my regular schedule and for it to be a habit. So I'm just going to help myself out by doing some meal prep. So let's go into the first thing, which is going to be a Salsa Verde chicken soup. So for this, you need some Salsa Verde, which that's my favorite, the Verde, some chicken broth, Great Northern beans, and then we need a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of cumin, and then 2 teaspoons of chili powder, and then some chicken. So this is going into the crock pot. So I have the chicken in there. I'm going to add in 2 cups of chicken broth, which I probably should have done a little bit less because I am going to not put rice in this. The original recipe that I'm going to have linked down below has you add rice, so it's a little bit thicker, but that's okay. What I plan on doing is straining it a little bit, and I plan on serving this over cauliflower rice. Anyway, so you put in some diced green chilies. I think I forgot to show those in that previous clip. The whole container of the Salsa Verde sauce, which that is hands down my favorite Salsa Verde sauce, by the way. Oh, besides Trader Joe's, but I'm not close enough to Trader Joe's just to go pick up their Salsa Verde, which is probably my absolute favorite. A whole can of drained and rinsed Great Northern beans. Again, when I have the original recipe linked down below, you're going to see the measurements are going to be a little bit different because I did half this recipe. So I'm putting in the spices. So I have the smoked paprika, which I prefer smoked paprika versus regular paprika in most soups and stews. So that's just my own preference. Then we're going to do 2 teaspoons of chili powder. This has so much flavor, by the way. This is like one of the most flavorful soups. So by having this with cauliflower rice, because I already have the healthy carbs from those beans, so I'm going to just have it with the cauliflower rice, and you know, cauliflower rice is kind of bland. So this nice flavor soup is going to be so good over that cauliflower rice. And you will see in my daily videos how I put that all together. I do have a lot of requests to show my meals after my meal prep, like how they are, but I film my meal prep literally the same week that I'm going to eat it. I don't film ahead like some people do, so I can't really show the outcome of these meals. I can only encourage you to watch my What I Eat in a Day videos that I post throughout the entire week, where you can see how these meals are put together. Now that is going to cook on high for 4 hours. And then in the meantime, we're going to make some chili. This chili is from the Pioneer Woman, one of my favorite chilies. This is also going to a slow cooker. I have 2 slow cookers, so we need some chopped onions, a can of black beans, kidney beans, some ground turkey. I'm using this 93.7 lean ground turkey, some red bell pepper, rotel tomatoes, some chicken broth, some cumin, and some chili powder. So again, we're going to do this all in my pressure cooker. So I have a saute. If you have a saute function on your pressure cooker or slow cooker, that is the best thing. Both of my slow cookers have a saute feature, which I highly recommend. Also going to do some minced garlic. So we're going to hit saute on here, and then we are going to go ahead and saute up our bell peppers and our onions, and then also our garlic. So we're going to throw that in there, saute this up until it's nice and softened. Now, at this point, I add in my spices when my veggies are about halfway done, and that's because spices, they are so much better if they're warmed up versus putting them in with the liquid. I just like to put my spices in just like this, and I know it gets kind of clumpy, but that's flavor, you guys. It's so much flavor. I don't know if this recipe calls for this. I didn't really look at that. I just know I automatically put my spices in with whatever I'm sauteing. Once the sauteing is almost done, then I add my liquid. So we're going to also add in our ground turkey here because we want to go ahead and get that cooked up before we start the slow cooker. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now you can use ground chicken in this as well. I've done that before too, and I actually kind of prefer it with ground chicken, but the ground chicken right now is so expensive. So you see all that down there? That's going to soften up when you put the liquid in there, and that's going to be so much flavor because of all those spices. They're nice and warm, and they're going to be activated. We also need to do some tomato paste. I have these little containers of tomato paste that I freeze whenever I don't use an entire can. So I had some of those in my freezer, so I went and pulled one out because I only need about 1/8 of a cup, which is 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and add in that tomato paste and then the whole can of Rotel tomatoes. And this is after your ground turkey is all cooked. And then I drained and rinsed my black beans and my red kidney beans, which red kidney beans, by the way, are points, even if beans are free for you. Not sure why, but when I put them in my tracker, they came up as points. Kind of weird. The black beans are 0. The Great Northern beans are 0, but for some reason the kidney beans are not, but that's okay. I added in about a cup of chicken broth, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I did end up adding just a little bit more. Just depends on how thick or thin you want your chili. I suggest, starting off with a small amount because you can always add in more later. And I'm going to go ahead and cook this on my slow cooker on high, and it'll be for 4 hours. In the meantime, now while both are going, we're going to do the rest of the meal prep. So I have some sweet potatoes here that I'm going to chop up and roast in the oven. I want to use these for bowls throughout the week for either lunches or dinners. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on a sheet pan. I'm going to spray them with a little bit of cooking spray and use some of this Kinder's roasted garlic salt. This stuff is amazing on potatoes, regular potatoes or sweet potatoes. I was munching on these when they came out of the oven, I'll tell you right now. That is so good with that roasted garlic. It's like a smoky roasted garlic salt. Oh, it's so good. Anyways, 450 for about 20 minutes. Mine came out a little crispy, you'll see, but they are so good. So I'm going to throw these in the oven, and then my salsa verde is actually fast forward in time here. My salsa verde soup is done. I got it in there about 45 minutes before my chili, so that's why it's done so much sooner. But you can see it's a little thin, again, because I really should have not had put as much chicken broth, but it's okay. We're just gonna shred up that chicken, and then we will just strain it a little bit before we put it in the bowl. And my chili should be almost done, so we're going to give a little peek at the chili, and I believe the timer went off like right after I was getting the salsa verde all strained and everything. So here we have our chili, and again, it just depends on how thick or thin you want your chili, just depends on the person. So you can see here, it's pretty thick, and it smells amazing. Another thing to go in some bowls this week, I'm going to do some barbecue chicken. So I have this Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and spicy, no sugar added barbecue sauce, so good. And then we have some chicken here. We're just going to throw this into the pressure cooker with some of the Kinder seasoning, the blend, which is salt, pepper, garlic. I'm just going to put it on high pressure on the poultry setting for 15 minutes. I didn't used to like to do this, but my chicken's been coming out much more tender because I've been grabbing it as soon as it goes off. While my chicken is in there, we're going to go ahead and make some meatballs. So we have some turkey meatballs here. I have some ground turkey, some of this organic shredded or grated Parmesan, some of the salt, pepper, garlic, Italian seasoning, and some breadcrumbs, an egg, and some green onions. So we want to use 1/8 of a cup each of the Parmesan cheese and the breadcrumbs, and then just sprinkle on, of course, the seasoning. And we're going to put the egg in there, and then we're just going to form them into meatballs. And I'm going to go ahead and cook these in the skillet because I had the sweet potatoes in the oven. I didn't want to really disrupt them. So I'm just going to go ahead and cook these in the skillet. I plan on having these in bowls. I'm going to have them with some of this new like mashed cauliflower that I found at the store. So once I brown on all sides, I'm going to go and put the lid on them and then add just a little bit of water in there. And we're just going to steam these until they're all done. Here's my barbecue chicken. I did add a little bit more barbecue sauce on it after it was done cooking so I could shred it up. And this is going to go in the bowls with some like veggies, with some of those sweet potatoes. You could have this on a salad cold. I really like the shredded barbecue chicken cold on a salad. So these are just all components throughout the week that I can have for lunches and dinners. And again, they're just going to be in the refrigerator, ready to go. So be sure you watch my upcoming videos so you can see how I put all these together. Here's my sweet potatoes. I said they got a little bit crispy on the bottom. I didn't spray my tin foil before I put the sweet potatoes on there, but they're amazing. They're still super good. These had so much flavor because of that seasoning. Here are my meatballs. Again, this would be good for bowls or just over some cauliflower mash with a little bit. I'm going to make some like homemade gravy or something like that. So we have a chicken, we have our sweet potatoes, we have our chili, which I'll serve the chili with jalapenos and avocados and some plain non-fat Greek yogurt with maybe a little bit of cheese on top. The salsa verde is going to go over some cauliflower rice. You guys, Do not miss next week's videos, and you can see how I turn this meal prep into different meals throughout the week for lunches and dinners. I will have all the recipes linked down below, so check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.